I really want to help you master what I'm teaching here. And so I decided to bring in another trainer for you. Former Special Agent for the U.S. Secret Service and Homeland Security, Desmond O'Neill. Desmond has over 22 years of experience. He's one of the lead trainers when it comes to negotiation and interrogation, from the FBI to the CIA to the Department of Defense. He's trained the elite of the elite, and now he's here to train you. Oh, he's also my husband. Let's start with the myths. You've done interviews and interrogations for the majority of your career.
Right.
Good cop, bad cop. I hear it all the time. What do you think about that?
Definitely a myth. It's a myth because people often think that if I come in and one person's really mean, the person you're speaking to is automatically going to want to talk to the person who is being nice to them. And so that person now feels that if this nice person is taking an interest in me and this person being mean to me is going to leave me alone, I will now reveal more to the nice person. The problem is you've already started yourself off as a deficit. When you come in and you have a person that's being very harsh to someone, oftentimes what's going to happen is they're going to have defense mechanisms come up. They're going to put up some emotional barriers, and they're not going to trust you.
Okay, so you brought something up that I've been saying throughout this training, trust. Why do you need trust?
Another way to look at trust is vulnerability. When you trust someone, you're more vulnerable about yourself. You're more likely to be open with them. You're more likely to be honest with them. Trust is one of those emotions that we don't often give very freely. And if we do, we want to make sure that the people we give that to are people that truly have our best interests in heart. Trust is very hard to gain. Trust is very hard to build. And oftentimes when we lose it for good.
Can you explain this to people? Because often, sometimes people think, well, it's not just good cop, bad cop, but it'll be good parent, bad parent, good boss, bad boss. People will compete. Why doesn't that work?
Well, what you can do right off the bat is simplify it for yourself. You don't need the antithesis of the good parent or the good boss. You don't need a bad boss to make the good boss actually look like a good boss. Be a good boss, be a good parent. But oftentimes people think that in an effort to do that, I need to make myself the authority in the regards to being harsh, to being direct, being almost confrontational in a bad way. And that is not based on what the research has shown, anything that I've taught, what is the most effective way to communicate with someone.
So here's another myth I always hear, torture. If you torture people, you can get them to tell you anything you want.
You can, but is what they're telling you the information that you want? People will tell you anything under enough stress and duress. The question that you have to ask, though, is what they're telling you actionable, and is it reliable, and is it something that I can use? Sure, people will tell you something often just to make the pain go away, or to make them feel better, or to even almost make you feel better. If there is something that you want from me and I don't have it, but you're continuing to put a lot of pressure on me, I may make something up just to make the pressure go away.
You bring up a valid point, because a lot of times people think I'm going to force somebody or make somebody do something. The problem is when you put pressure on people or when you try to force them, they're just going to tell you what you want to hear just so you can stop, so you can go away. And then it doesn't mean that what they tell you is valid. You want to think of it like that in real life, right? You want good information from people. I want good intelligence. So to have good intelligence, I have to know how to talk to people, so then once I have the correct information, I can move and make better business decisions, have better relationships with people, learn how to navigate conflict. Mm-hmm. Which brings me to this. People often come to you, and one of the things I've noticed people ask you is they need help with conflict. People are conflict averse. They don't want to fight. They don't want to address anything. People go very avoidant. How do you help people handle that?
The first thing that you have to be comfortable with is it's okay to lean into conflict. Conflict is a part of our everyday life. There are always going to be things and people that we're not going to agree with, or decisions that are made not necessarily in our favor. The magic in that is asking why that is. If there is something that you disagree with, if there's something that you see as off, it's okay to ask why that is. Why was that said? Why do you feel the way you do? Because what you're doing is you're inviting the person that you have conflict with into the conversation, and you're asking them to explain their position. Conflict doesn't have to be challenging. It is okay to lean into it, but there is a strategy and a way to do that.
Okay. So then when it comes to leaning in, how would you lean in? If I'm in a bad mood, right? And you see me, let's say I just wrote an email and I look upset and you're watching this happen. What would you say to me then to lean in to get me to talk?
So the first thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to label you, because I could say, Evy, you're pretty mad. At that time, if you're not mad, you may now be mad and mad at me because I've now labeled you. What would be a more effective way for me to handle that is saying, Evy, it looks as though that email you sent caused you to be upset. It seems as though that email that you just responded to caused you some concerns. Do I have that right? What I've done is I've made it not about me as what I think, but I'm saying it seems as though this is what your emotion is showing to me. I'm not saying I'm accurate. I'm giving you an opportunity to explain that to me. And if I'm wrong, it also gives you a chance to explain that to me as well.
I've talked about that on this course. It's actually called labeling theory. When you label somebody as something, that is what manifests in their behavior. So in criminal justice, when you label somebody as a criminal or an offender, when you give them that name, a thief, that's the behavior you manifest. It doesn't work. It actually shuts people down. It diminishes people. It just never goes well. Here, what I'm teaching with my BBC Maestro course is to remove those labels. And it's not because it's not nice to label people, although, yes, no, it's not. But it's really to guide people. Label the behavior you're seeing. People are fluid. They move. And it's always interesting because you and I use this stuff all the time and with everything. And there's moments where I will tell you about somebody's behavior and I'll say, hey, do you know what so-and-so did? And one of the things you always say to me is, why are you surprised?
Yeah. Behavior is one of those, especially from humans, where it's all over the place. It's very shape-shifting. It's going to change from sentence to sentence, from moment to moment. So oftentimes when you label a person, you've just pretty much stereotyped them into being this the whole time, which is not fair. It's not fair to you, it's not fair to me, and it almost minimizes my ability now to flow with that person, to follow the conversation and to follow their emotion in terms of how they may be feeling at that moment. So when you see an emotion, something that is unknown to you, when I say lean into it, I mean ask the person to explain that, because it's doing two things. It's showing that you're listening to them, and it's showing that you are genuinely trying to understand where they are in their head.
You dealt with quite a few people that would be very disrespectful to you or overly aggressive to you. How did you manage that? How did you not take things personally? Because I think sometimes, a lot of times people do, and we let it impact us in our relationships. How do you manage that?
I think about when I'm having a conversation with a person, why am I having that conversation? What is my mission set? If my mission set is to argue with them, I can do that. Or if my mission set is to get them to cooperate or to finish a project or to clean their room, then that's what I need to focus on. So in between that, if the conversation gets argumentative, I know how to adjust that. I don't take it personal because it's not part of what my mission is. Anytime that you see emotion from someone, anytime, no matter what that is, identify it, bring it to that person's attention, because when you're able to do that, it allows you to lower your cognitive load, your ability to try to think through this. You're giving this person an opportunity to explain themselves, and then you can truly understand what is the disconnect, what is going on in their mind that may now be blocking them from fulfilling what you're asking them to do.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on the course. You've helped me a lot in my life. And you, even to this day, you still guide me despite the fact that I know all this stuff. And I do think maybe one takeaway for everybody is find someone that you can go to. They don't have to be another interrogator or trainer, but maybe just somebody that you can go to bounce off and reflect things. Because even myself, and actually we both do it to one another, if you can find that person or people you can go to, it really can help steady you when you need guidance.
We do that a lot, right? It is a matter of saying, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm feeling, this is the email that I wrote, this is the text message I'm about to send. Does this convey the message that I think it does? And there have been multiple times when you tell me, maybe take these words out, maybe don't send the email till tomorrow, maybe there's some emotion in this that you can feel, rewrite that at a later time. And there's value with that, because again, the message received is the message. And so if you send something from your lens, but it doesn't land correctly, it just makes things more difficult for you. So if you can find somebody that is near and dear to you, that can give you their honest feedback, that's golden when it comes to being a better communicator.
Okay. Well, thank you. Now, let's both be good monkeys and you head home and help me out while I finish out my BBC Maestro course.
Sounds like you have something you want me to do at home. Can you explain that to me?
Take out the trash. It's still there.